I get paid by the minute.
Bang.
Meeting will come to order, please. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting have been satisfied. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Attention, salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You call the roll, please.
Mayor Becker,
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo,
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg,
I am here.
We have before us for approval minutes of our February 15th meetings. What is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion we approve those. I'll second it.
Mayor Becker,
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo,
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg,
Yes.
We will now open public comment. You may discuss any subject you want for 3 minutes.
Sewell, 22 West Drive. I like carte blanche, Mayor, except when it comes to the school budget. Mayor, when we left off last time, Moishe Kapoyer was throwing a hissy fit over Steve's candid, truthful statements about your hand-picked school board. Steve was spot on, noting they don't care how much money they spend. Nothing is too good. Steve was merely echoing the sentiments of the late Joanne Colzer, who boldly declared the board has a financial responsibility. And this is like a blank credit card to have 9 children in the classroom. When I tell my friends who are teachers in other districts, their jaws drop. They can't believe it. End of quote. Noteworthy, this spineless, gutless troika never said or did squat. You're all too brain dead to realize the board is not happy with a private school experience, but instead demands a super extravagant boutique education. Hence, 3 kindergarten classes averaging less than 10 students each. And in Linwood, the commissioner's ex-stomping ground, they would have had instead 1 teacher instead of 3 teachers, making it 3 times less costly to taxpayers. Mayor, you and your 2 co-conspirators all took a solemn oath to provide a thorough and efficient education. In fact, Mayor, you dragged some Halalia judge in here to administer your oath. Mayor, you know what they call lying under oath? It's called perjury, a felony. Thus, Mayor, when you insist I'm getting old with all this school stuff, Mayor, for once in your life, you're right. I shall continue to repeat the fact that you have been and will continue. Time will pass, Mayor. Just sit tight.
Not fast enough.
I know. You continue to financially rape, rob, and pillage your fellow senior citizen property taxpayers. Mayor, your word is worthless, and you refuse to abide by your oath. The school stuff can never get old because the cost to taxpayers continues to rise. Mayor, close a redundant second school, right-size this year, halt any initiative to hire an interim superintendent, and then ban any notion of a ridiculous long-term superintendent. A single school requires but one and only one principal administrator. Mayor, do what needs to be done now. Stop your wretched excesses now. Then, and only then, will the school stuff become old hat.
Perfect.
No,
Perfect.
it's 3 minutes too long. Any other public comment?
Art Cotilli again, and I haven't moved since the last time. I'm at
I need it for the
114
records.
North Lancaster
Thank
Avenue,
you.
yes. Along the lines, I don't need a previous person, but John was mentioning the schools, so I'll forget the parking. A lot of people know, everyone in fact knows, that our attendance, our public school students have been dropping and dropping and dropping over the years. But most people don't know how much they've dropped in the last 4 years. Well, I happened to look at the paperwork that I have from each of the meetings, and lo and behold, we dropped approximately 100 students in the last 4 years, and I think that's terrible. So in addition to this, we have a building maintenance situation where the minute it was identified that they would close one school versus the other, we immediately floated a bond for over $1 million to repair the one that's here. Well, nothing's happened with the one that was supposed to be closed. It's kind of strange. And I looked at the 7 items that we have as the from the county that are real over expenditures for our school. Sure enough, the first one is building maintenance. And the second one is cost per pupil. And the third one is staffing costs. Well, if we just look at all these 3, they all border on correction with a certain idea towards closing one of the buildings. This would reduce our number of principals and the need for a superintendent and all, which would cut quite a bit. A real easy thing to do would be to just impose something that our previous school board president suggested and reiterated to me at a discussion I had with him recently, was to use 21 as his guide for the number of students in a classroom. Mr. Celeste said 21 was the ideal. 18 to 21 was the thing, and he used 21 as the ideal number. And that was great when the class size was much larger. But now it seems that the bar has been lowered. So now we can have 15, 10. Any class that has 42 or fewer should be broken into two classes. Any grade that has 42 or fewer, they'd be 21 each or less. And that would correct quite a bit. I mean, we don't have to wait for another hit list from the county saying we're overspent. I know John DiNicola says it's just a way of them sharing this information with us. I don't believe in sharing. I think that they're talking about, here's something you should take care of.
Thank you, Art.
Thank you.
Steve Warner, 103 North Sumner Avenue. I don't know if commissioners are aware that today one of the firefighters pled guilty in Mays Landing to a felony count of fraud, insurance fraud, to the tune of $1.7 million, I believe, that he's going to have to repay and possibly be responsible for $7 million. Are you commissioners, Mayor, aware of that? You are, yeah, okay. Well, this is what's happened. This is the past now, and I think the past is going to be dragged out for, maybe the next 6 months, I don't know, and it's not going to be pretty. However, I think that I would personally like to look to the future of the fire department, which people know I've been critical of. I think, in my opinion, there's some things that have been drastically wrong at the fire department, drastically wrong. And I've made that clear, maybe not as clear as maybe I felt, but I think most of the commissioners are aware of that. And I think now would be the time going forward to correct some of these drastic problems here. And I say, number one, there's been a drug problem that is just off the hook, and that's got to be dealt with. And it's got to be dealt with legally. If the people have to go to rehab, whatever it is, it's got to be dealt with, and no more drug problem in the fire department. That's number one. And number two, in my opinion, it's time to go down to one firehouse. We don't need 2. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. Okay, it's time to right-size the fire department. Have it at Washington Avenue. That's it. Close the other one. Use it for storage. Whatever. That's number 2. And number 3. If you're the chief, and Dan, you're new here. I'm glad you stayed, okay? Because I'm going to say anything behind your back. I'll say it right to your face, except I got to look this way. You're the man now to make the changes that need to be made in the fire department, and I hope you're man enough to do it, okay? You got to do what's got to be done, okay, to straighten this out, because in my opinion, maybe it wasn't run the way it should have been run the last 8 years. Maybe not. I'm sure that the smoke detectors in this city are in better shape than they were 8 years ago. I don't doubt that. But the department itself is, needs to be straightened out. And you need somebody to run the fire department, okay? You can't be everybody's friend. You got to be the boss. You're hired to be the boss. Chief Wilson, you're hired to be the boss. You're not hired to be a good guy, okay? I'm the boss of my business. I'm not hired to be a good guy. I'm hired to tell people what to do and do what you think is right, okay? And it's time to straighten out the fire department right now. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Steve. Is there any other public comment?
Fred Tercey, 9400 Amherst. I guess I was here 2 weeks ago.
Could you
Discuss
speak a little
this-
closer to the microphone?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
And discussed the zoning issue or rezoning issue regarding the Bay Marina District. And I heard during the working session that you're considering redoing that, and we're pleased with that, and want to thank you for the consideration. Thank you.
Thank you for being respectful, sir. Any other public comment? Being no other comment, is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker,
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
We will now open public comment on resolutions. The resolutions are on your agenda. Is there any comment? There being no comment, is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Okay, Johanna?
Okay, may I have a motion for Resolution 61-2018, authorizing payment and claims?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
And we have our consent agenda, which include Resolution number 57, 2018, which was pulled from last week, or last meeting, and has been placed on this meeting's agenda. Resolution number 62, 2018 through 67, 2018. May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Are we done?
She's done.
Okay.
Making,
Anything else?
back to storm.
Pardon me?
Do we know when this storm's hitting?
We
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, okay.
we
We're-
talked
we're
about that.
prepared.
We're ready.
We're prepared.
Do we know what time it's going to hit?
Well, they said the rain is going to start
Start-
by 5 p.m. tonight.
This
The
afternoon.
heaviest rain is going to run through tonight into the morning. Rain will continue through Saturday, but the worst of it is the full moon that's approaching,
The tide.
which, and the tides and the flooding, we're expecting excessive flooding. Chief Wolfson's on top of it. He will place our high-wheel vehicles on flooded streets to only allow emergency vehicles to get through, but to prevent our citizens from getting stuck in the water, as has happened many times in the past.
The highest tide's supposed to be Saturday morning.
Yes.
Correct. And what, may I?
No, go
Tomorrow morning, early, the city will be opening up the Union Avenue Playground which is a high spot. If you need parking, you can park there. And just be careful. I think hopefully it won't be as bad as they seem to think, and we'll survive another one.
That's all we
Okay,
know.
everybody good?
Yes,
Is
sir.
there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
All right. Thank you all for being here.